Aloha and welcome to TransforMe Summer Solstice Seasonal Mastermind, where we help you map out the next 3 months of your life. My name is Tyler Mongan.
And I'm Jonathan Fritzler, and we are the founders of SacredStrategy.org. Today what we're going to be going over is a 3-month timeline to be able to activate and come into alignment with the next season of your life utilizing the Sacred Strategy technology.
Yeah, today we're going to introduce concepts called, for example, the Conscious Entrepreneur's Journey. We're also going to be talking about strategies to align your life and your business with prosperity mindset. Then we're going to show you how to implement this information in your life using mind labbing, resource mapping exercises, and timeline frameworks.
Now the theme for today is prosperity, purpose, and profits. And before we get into the workshop, we're going to tell you a little bit about SacredStrategy.org.
Yeah, it's important to understand a little bit about our purpose as an organization. And one of our main missions is to activate conscious entrepreneurs to help change the way the world does business.
We know that capitalism has a huge potential to do good on this planet, but in the past, it hasn't always been used for good. In fact, we see so many companies who are destroying our environment, so we want to start to shift that culture by creating a culture of conscious entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and globally you can see that there's definitely a shift going on in the economy, and that there's a big demand for maybe local businesses or entrepreneurial and definitely triple bottom line businesses that are respectful of the people, planet, and want to make profits as well. And that's kind of what we want to do at Sacred Strategy. We want to help to educate conscious entrepreneurs and also build a community for them so that they can thrive.
Right, because we know that at the core of ourselves, that there is a purpose and a mission within each individual. And when we start to come into alignment with that, not only spiritually, but also in our working life, in our business life, in our friendships, socially, environmentally, consciously, we will help to create more harmony on this planet. And that's what we're here to do today.
Yeah, and John and I have been working in the social entrepreneurial field for many years, both in the for-profit and nonprofit. For example, I got started back in 2008 with a company called the Honu Guide, and basically I started a coupon book for local green businesses in Hawaii.
Genius.
Yeah, I realized there was a need. I mean, really, I was walking around town wondering where the green businesses were and who I wanted to support, who was interested in local economy, who were doing good things for the environment in Hawaii, and there was no one central resource. And so my idea was to bring people together, create community around a central hub, which I called the Honu Guide, which was a coupon book. And we grew the business from maybe 0 members, of course, from the startup, all the way to 200 business members in 3 years. And it was a great resource, not only for the businesses to learn about sustainability and triple bottom line economics, but also for the community at large as well.
Right.
And so it was really interesting. And me and John met each other actually through a organization called Smart Sustainability Consulting, where we're both working on a project to help train the Department of Education and the Department of Defense on how to energy audit their buildings. And
right.
John can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, and we were actually able to bring together multi-level stakeholders, which means, the generals at the top all the way down to the people at the bottom to come into one room together to work towards a common goal to save energy and ultimately save our planet. And that was a great thing to bring to the military especially, and getting them all in there. And we were actually able to identify over $8 million in energy saving opportunities. And so by going in and doing this, working together and seeing the need of really conscious business, we started to get into this conversation and find out that we really aligned, because my background was more focused in the nonprofit sector, and I had started the Aloha Movement Project, otherwise known as AMP, and we were bringing together students, musicians, artists, activists, and different organizations to be able to have a positive impact in the community using our school research projects as a vehicle to create social transformation and develop new organizations. And that led into my organization as well, Education Energy. And so Tyler and I really have different backgrounds, but when we come together and we realize that we both have that same commonality of business doing good in the world, that's what really activated us to take action on Sacred Strategy.
Right, and I think part of this too is that that idea of tapping into spirituality and consciousness-based concepts. Just even going back to the name of Sacred Strategy, one of the ways I like to think about it is it's tapping into the sacred, maybe in an environment or a place or inside yourself, and using that that as a way to inform your business and life strategies.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of power in the concept that we've created, and we want to use that to help to educate you and create community for you so that you can grow and thrive as an entrepreneur in this world.
And one of the ideas that we like to live by is the idea that we're living through and leading through an emerging self, a self that we can see in the future. And you may have a vision of yourself in the future as a leader, as a business leader, using your organization as a vehicle to become that future self. But in order to get there, first, we have to be able to release the blockages that are holding us back from getting there. And so before we get started today, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Tyler is actually going to be taking us into a meditation.
Okay, so if you could close your eyes, sit comfortably in your seat, long spine and a straight back, and feel the weight of your body in your chair or in your seat, and feel comfortable there. Then take a deep inhale, and exhale. I want you to think back and envision the past 3 months of your life. How did it feel? What have you accomplished? What have you been challenged by? And how have you faced those challenges? And how do you feel about the past 3 months right now? Realize that no matter what happened then, that season is complete. And for a moment, let's feel that completion. Knowing that the past 3 months is done, all the challenges have been faced, all the goals have been completed for that season. Let's focus on that emotion, the emotion of relief. Let's take a nice deep inhale. And exhale and just feel that relaxation and relief throughout the body, throughout the mind, throughout your spirit. Take one more deep inhale. Then exhale. Feel the relief. Now let's focus on the future. Imagine that you're at the end of the summer and you're looking back. Imagine yourself feeling happy, feeling fulfillment, feeling confidence. What things have happened during this next season of your life? What experiences did you have? Just let the visions come freely. Don't think, just watch and see what comes. Allow yourself to be surprised by what you see. Now I want you to imagine a door in front of you. I want you to know that when you walk through that door, you're going to be in the present moment. You're going to be here to do your work today for this next hour and plan the next 3 months of your life. So see that door in front of you, and when you're ready, walk through the door and open your eyes.
Wow. That was powerful. That was good. Thank you, Tyler. And thank you for going there and walking through that door, because, you know, that's what sacred strategy is always about, you know, is really about coming into alignment with those powers, utilizing meditation to be able to see that future self, be able to see that coming month, those coming months, and be able to see that, because I know I had visions there, and to be able to go into that, and I actually felt it in my body, you know, activating that. So
yeah, feeling that deep sense of just presencing, of being present in yourself and your body, and present with your vision of the future.
Right.
You know, realizing that future is there, but it's in the now as well.
Yeah. Right. So before we get any further, what we want to do is we want to set the intention with some of these goals and expectations for this time together, because what we really want is we want to get clear on our vision. And in order to do that, we need to close out of Facebook. We got to put away our phone, and we got to kind of create some energetic feng shui. So whatever you need to do to feel completely focused and completely present today, please make that space. If you need to pause this webinar, please do it and just feel good about where you're at.
Turn off your phone. Maybe reduce some of the tabs you have open in the background of your computer.
Right. Also, if you got a chance, please print out the workbook that we sent to you. And if you don't have the workbook or the printing capabilities, then please just have some paper out ready to go, because what we want to do right now is we want to challenge ourselves to a heightened presence, so that as we go into this intentional cultivating of the coming seasons of our lives, we want to be able to have full presence to put into that.
Yeah, it's one of the things we're going to be doing is we're going to be planting these seeds in our mind, and Jonathan likes to call it the mind garden, which is a great concept. You're going to be planting these seeds in your mind that are going to grow over the next 3 months of your life, and you want to be very particular about the types of seeds you plant, how you plant them, where you plant them, so that they have the best potential to grow and to become fruit in your life, and your business as well.
Great. So let's get started, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, and thank yourself for being here as well.
Right, making that commitment to yourself to say, you know what, I'm going to step away for an hour to just cultivate me, put some time into that. It's powerful. So let's do it. Great. So what we want to do is we want to start off by introducing this new model called the Conscious Entrepreneur's Journey, which is based on the work of Joseph Campbell, who wrote the book A Hero with 1,000 Faces. And this story is not just a story for us to be able to model ourselves after and be able to see what the future is like, or the journey of a conscious entrepreneur, but it's also a prophecy. It's saying that this is the process that we go through as entrepreneurs and conscious entrepreneurs. And so we want to be able to walk through this together to see where it will lead us.
Yeah, one of the cool things about going through this process and following this journey of the conscious entrepreneur is it's kind of a form of lean startup or prototyping method. You're actually walking yourself through this process visually as a means to prototype what that would look like for you and how that would feel. So that when you get to certain points along the journey, you've kind of already experienced them and felt them in some way, and you can already start to meet some of those challenges or drawbacks that you might experience.
And that's huge, because what we're actually doing on a scientific basis is we are building new neural pathways. And so when we walk through this story, imagine yourself there in your business. This is a conscious meditation. This is a practice. And so what we're doing is we're saying, okay, we're going through this process, and when we go through, say, the first threshold, when we actually start the business, feel that in your body. Feel yourself starting that business, because now you're actually scientifically tuning your body through the neural pathways, energetically, chemically, creating that process in your body and your mind.
Wow, it's great. So let's get into it. Let's check out this entrepreneur's journey, the conscious entrepreneur's journey. And as you can see here, kind of on the in the top and just to the right, there's this word, call to service and solve a problem. And that's kind of where this journey all begins for this conscious entrepreneur. They have this feeling of a calling. It's something greater than just I want to make money.
Right, because in the beginning, the entrepreneurs in their comfort zone.
Right.
It's like they're just comfortable, and you're kind of going, and it's like you're doing just enough to get by, and maybe they hear that call to a new market or a new business opportunity or a new job.
Right. And they might have a great, comfortable life, and now they're called to something more. Actually, called to maybe a greater sense of self in this process as well. It's interesting because the co-founder of Whole Foods, in his book Conscious Capitalism, he talks about the concept of the entrepreneur as the hero. The hero of this future economy. And so that's why this journey is really important. It's not just about starting a business. It's actually about transformation, personal transformation, and also helping to transform the world.
Right, the environment and society, because we know that we need to start utilizing business as a force for good. And so that is the call today, is that even if you have a business that's going and it's successful, how can we use that business as a vehicle for social and environmental transformation? And so the next step into that is actually creating the vision from the emerging future self. And so you see that vision, you see that call, and that desire for that becomes greater than the previous comfortable life. And so it's calling, you might be avoiding it, it's this push and pull, and then finally something happens. Hopefully it's this video that you watch this video and you say, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna do the research, which leads us to the next step, which is actually doing the research.
Yeah, so you take your time, you're gonna be about to cross this threshold. You're gonna move out of this comfort zone. Maybe it's this job or career you have, or maybe a certain type of lifestyle you're used to, and you're gonna move through that threshold into a next phase of the journey. And in that process, you want to go through a little bit of analysis, self-analysis. One of the ways to do that, it's called a SWOT. And we use this in business terms a lot. And it's actually you go through and you analyze the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats, okay? And that's really important to kind of do your research around, you know, this business idea you have, or even your current lifestyle and what it would look like to move into this new lifestyle as an entrepreneur.
You know, and if you have the time, you could even use this phase to actually write a business plan, because I always say business plan is the ultimate manifestation tool, because it forces you to get absolutely clear on exactly what you want to create, how you're going to create it, your partners, your finances, all the way down to the very, you know, the minuscule things about how it's going to work.
Right.
And it's so powerful to do, but it's not totally necessary, because here's the thing. You could do a little bit of research, see the markets there, and then say, you know what, I'm going for it. I'm going to jump in and I'm going to get started. And that's when you first cross the first threshold, which is starting up.
Yeah, start up. And the idea is that you want to start. You just want to get started. A lot of people just keep waiting. They're like, I need more education. I need more experience. I need more research. And one of the cool concepts is the concept of the lean startup. And it's applying the scientific method of experimentation to see if your concept is even worth trying out at all.
So it's like, okay, I've got a hypothesis. I believe that my business or your business is going to enter into this new market. Maybe you say, we already have a business model, but what we're going to do is we're going to try a new marketing campaign that's based around social good, where we're going to create an education program based around our concept, and we're going to educate people every time that they buy our product. We're going to run them through this program. Boom, that's socially, maybe environmentally, you're planting a tree when they buy a product. That's your hypothesis. You test it on a small scale, see what the results are, and then you can either pivot or scale from there.
Yeah, and that experiment doesn't need to be even 10 people. It could be one person, you know. The idea is just getting out there and testing the hypothesis as fast as possible so you can fail as possible or succeed as fast as possible so that you know how to pivot and move.
Yeah, and remember, the sooner that you fail, the better. Fail as soon as possible, because eventually we run out of ideas that don't work, right? So now, but there's a way that you can actually have a quantum leap in your business process, and that's by getting mentors and advisors and guides.
Yeah, it's really important to go out and process of, you know, starting your business or launching it, is to find people who are already doing it, already successful at it, get advice from them. They want to share information with you as much as you really want it. And part of that process is actually becoming the type of person that's willing to engage these mentors in the right way, and also not to ask for anything in return really, other than their knowledge and support. And the other concept is modeling. And that means you go out there and you find businesses that are already doing what you're doing and they're successful at it. And on one level, just copy their stuff. You know, to me, copying is one of the biggest forms of respect. It's showing that what they've done is valuable to you, and it's valuable to other people, and so I want to copy that model.
Right. Well, it's funny. I always say that if I learned anything in college, it was how to copy without actually copying, because it's called referencing. Right. You know, you're giving them props, and the cool thing about it is that, say that you find a company that's doing exactly what you want to do, and you say, I like what they're doing, but I want to do it more consciously, environmentally friendly, right? So you add this twist onto it, but you say, hey, I'm going to reference it, I'm going to write about them in my blog. And then it gives you the ability to call up, say, hey guys, how's it going? I just want to let you know I'm doing some similar work with a little bit different though, and hitting a different market. And so we're not competitive, we're not competition, we're actually cooperation. Right? And so you can call them up and engage with them and have them as your mentors and work with them.
Yeah, I think it's a great concept too, of that. one of the ideas in business is that there's always competition. And one of the things we like to think about, especially at Sacred Strategy and with conscious entrepreneurship, is how do we change this concept of competition into collaboration, right? Yeah. And so that's a really important idea.
Right. Yeah. So moving on. So you got your mentors, you started up, but then something happens. Mm-hmm. You run into a problem, a challenge. Maybe it's not working so quickly, or maybe you run into some legal issues. It could be anything, but there's always going to be the temptation to quit.
Yeah, you might get a great job offer, and you might have this idea and this vision you want to create, not on the path of creation, and then someone says, hey, we want to hire you to work for our company. And basically on one level what that means is they're asking you to sacrifice your vision and dreams for dollars. Right. And that can be, maybe you choose to do that, and that's fine, but it is a challenge to making your vision real.
Right. Yeah. And there's always opportunities along the way, because it's sometimes people think, oh, I'm going to quit my job and just jump right into this new business, but that may not be the healthy or strategic approach to do that. You might need to have a job part-time and then slowly ease into creating your business. But we will say this, as supporters of conscious entrepreneurs, we really encourage you to start your own business, because when you invest your time and energy into your business, you're creating equity that will last you a lifetime.
Yeah, it's great. And so the next phase we move into from these challenges and temptations is the prototyping phase. In this phase, you've actually experimented enough with your product where it's out there on the market, your service or your concept, and you're actually selling it to people, and people are using it, engaging it, but at the same time, you're constantly pivoting it and changing it and altering it based on feedback from the market.
Right. So, one example of prototyping could be, say that you want to test your idea on Facebook and you're going to buy an ad, but maybe you don't know, should it be this title or this title? This is called split testing, and this is another example of prototyping. You're saying, okay, we're going to prototype this title and we're going to prototype this one, and we're going to see which one works the best. Right. Oh, this one sells more. Boom, let's go with that. Maybe we split two based off that. Oh, that one works a little bit more. And so you start to test these different ideas, and it helps you expand into different markets.
And one of the really important things about prototyping is it helps you to see what is really working versus on what you think is going to work. Right. And it also might not be the same idea or vision you had originally. When you cross that threshold into the entrepreneurial realm and you go through all these phases of temptations and challenges and mentors and modeling, in that process your vision might change. And the prototyping will show you what you need, your new vision, what your successful and valuable vision should be.
Right. Yeah. And moving into more of what is the value and what is the value you bring to the marketplace, the next step is conversion, converting from potential clients into paying clients. People, and not only clients, but people who become evangelists, people that really believe in what it is that you do and how you do it. And as you start to do this prototyping and split testing, you'll start to see what really resonates with your market.
Yeah, and that's really important. You want to make sure you're turning leads or just regular people out there into your clients, because if you're not, then what you actually have is a hobby and not really a business. And we definitely are into creating profitable businesses at Sacred Strategy as part of the overall strategy.
Right. Definitely. So moving into the last step, as we start to expand our business and we can really see it starting to work, that's when we come into true alignment with our market, with the people, and that's when we can really get clear on the triple bottom line business model, which is people, planet, and profit. Because as we start to create that sustainable model that generates revenue but also has a good impact in the world, that means that you're, as Tyler was saying earlier, it's not like we're not just doing a hobby. This is actually a sustainable business, and it's bringing real value to the world. You're having a real impact, and the more money that you make, the bigger your impact becomes.
Yeah, and the really important thing here is that you're not only making money and making a product or service, but you're also helping other people expand their consciousness. You're making the planet a healthier place. Right. So your business is actually doing good in the world, right? It's not just taking, but it's also giving and creating more wealth, more abundance, more prosperity for everybody.
Right, and that's the whole thing, is that a lot of times I see people saying, well, I don't want to make too much money because they think it's a bad thing, right? We have this this prosperity psychology that we have, and we're going to talk more about that later, but the source of all creation, your source of being, wants to expand. It wants to expand in this lifetime. And the more money that we can make through our business, the bigger impact that we can have.
Yeah, and the more we can fulfill our purpose here in life and really align. When we align all these things in our life that we want, we align the prosperity, the purpose, and the profits all together. That's when we really have something powerful that can really move into this next phase, which is the scaling phase.
Right, and in the scaling phase, this is the return home. This is the final threshold, because it comes back to this point where the entrepreneur can return back to this place of, this is my job, this is my life, and this is my livelihood. And you're creating something that's going to have create a legacy, something that's going to stay thriving forever, because you've built it as a vehicle that's evolving with time, and now it's able to scale around the world.
Yeah, and to me, it's like this great pinnacle of expression of who you are as a person in the world. And going through that process, you've actually created your own job, right? Is the idea, as opposed to allowing someone else or waiting for someone else to create the perfect job for you. You've gone through that process and done it. It's amazing.
Great. So thank you so much for going through this process, to be able to see what it would be like and feel on an internal level what it would be like as we walk through this conscious entrepreneur's journey. And now what we're going to do is we're going to move into the next phase, which is talking about redefining prosperity.
Yeah, so one of the things that people really think about when they hear the word prosperity is they think about money.
Right.
And one of the challenges with money is that it can be a trigger word for people. It can trigger things in your subconscious mind that have that are associated with negativity, ideas of scarcity, of greed, right, of imbalances of power. So one of the things we want to do is really start to redefine prosperity in a new way. It's not just about money, and so we want to get clear about what prosperity is.
Right. So what is prosperity to you? Feel that. When you think of prosperity, what does that feel like? Prosperity at the core is really an attitude towards life. It's a state of spiritual, mental, and physical thriving and total well-being.
And so many people think about prosperity as a destination. Right. They have somewhere they have to go. Like, they don't feel prosperous right now. They don't have all the things they need in their life to feel prosperous.
I had this, then I would be prosperous.
Yeah, and so they want to get somewhere, is the idea. And so they're saying, I can't feel prosperous now because I'm not there yet. Right. And when I get more money, I'll feel prosperous. Right. When I have more things or more people in my life, I'll feel prosperous.
But prosperity is really actually, it's a feeling. It's an action. It's a way of being.
Like a state. Like a state of the body.
A state of mind.
Energy in a sense that you have.
And when you have that within you and you're living through that, you radiate that light and you start to actually activate those universal laws and principles like the law of attraction.
Right.
So when you are when you are prosperous, you attract prosperity.
Yeah. It's kind of this weird, it's hard to wrap your mind around. We're not really taught this in life a lot of times. I mean, I think Jonathan and I have both been entrepreneurs for many years without really going through much prosperity mindset training. It's like, how do we reprogram our psychological relationship to the concept of money?
Yeah, we're going to get into that more in the trainings to come, and we're also going to be bringing more programs in the future to help to really ingrain a prosperous mindset into our hearts, into our minds, and into our spirits, so that we can emanate that more and live through that more.
Yeah, and one of the things we've been doing over the past 21 days, hopefully you've been participating with us, is we've been having people do an affirmation, which is, I am prosperous.
I am prosperous.
I am prosperous. And we've also been giving you some other tools and techniques for really starting to embody that state of prosperity in your life, regardless of where you're at right now.
Right. Because really what we want to do is we want to start to experiment with how we can saturate the subconscious mind with prosperous thoughts, prosperous feelings, and actions. And one way that we are going to do that today is we're going to start talking about how we can reprogram the conscious and the subconscious mind for prosperity.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with concepts of the mind, one of the really popular ways to look at the mind is to look at it at three levels. There's the subconscious level, then there's the conscious level, and then the superconscious level. Right. And each one of these have a different role in reprogramming this mind for prosperity?
Right. So let's start with the conscious mind. The conscious mind is like the gatekeeper of the soul. It's the guardian of your mind garden. And the mind garden is really this idea that every thought, feeling, and action that you have is like a seed. And the more energy and awareness that you give to those certain actions, the more it will grow. And so when we start to tend our mind garden, we want to build something, a new business, a new organization, the more energy that we put into that, the more it will grow. However, a lot of times what happens is that when our minds are not consciously, prosperously trained, when we don't train our mind for prosperity, then seeds of doubt, seeds of negativity, of lack, of scarcity can often go into our subconscious and be planted, and then all of a sudden we start to tend these seeds that are working against us.
Yeah, so one of the things we have to do is we have to really condition our conscious mind for prosperity, you know? And so some ways we can do that, of course, we did that through the affirmations. You can do incantations. You can do rites of passage. That's W-R-I-T-E.
Right. So actually putting those affirmations up, like put "I am prosperous" up on your mirror, so that every day when you're brushing your teeth,
you can saturate your mind with it.
Boom! Start getting it in there.
Well, one of the things you could really also be aware of is the people that you hang around. What kind of words and affirmations are they running in their minds that they're also, you know, spreading out into your space as well, in your field of energy and thought, and be conscious of that, because they can actually influence your own mind garden.
Right. Yeah. So we really want to condition ourselves, and whether you're listening to audiobooks when you're driving down the street, or actually doing incantations, which is actually like saying "I am prosperous," you know, it's the affirmation and the body movement, so that you can start to ingrain it in the body, like when you're doing yoga or working out and you're just saying it in your mind, you know, just get it in there, because every moment that you are not filling your mind with positive information, that means that we're filling it with negative. We're either going to be one or the other.
Yeah, your mind is just, it wants to fill up. So what are you going to fill it up with? You know, and you have the power of choice here. You can control that with your conscious mind. And that moves us into the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind in some ways is kind of like a storage facility for all your past experiences, whether those be good or bad. It's kind of like the hard drive of a computer.
Yeah, really. So how can we start to really reformat that? Because I mean, I think that people want to reformat it, but it's something that we have to identify. The bottom line is that we have all of these emotions within us. We're holding on to them from the past, and we need to deal with them. And we also need to release them and make room for better emotions. And you know, a lot of psychologists and doctors will spend a lot of time saying, well, let's go back to the past. Let's talk about that. And you're reliving that experience, and you're recreating those neural pathways. But what we want to do is we want to actually just surrender that. Just release it. Whatever it is that you're holding on to emotionally, like you have permission to let it go right now. Just brush it off your shoulders, brush off your wings, and let's start being prosperous.
Prosperity right now. We've actually created a few guiding questions for you to answer. So if you want to stop the video right now and take a moment and answer those questions, and that'll help you to really understand what types of feelings and thoughts that are resting in your subconscious mind that you might not be aware of, that you want to surrender and let go of.
Right, so open up to your workbook, or we'll put the image up here on the screen, and you can see the different questions about your financial psychology and what you really feel about prosperity. And it's good to write these down, because remember, this is the rites of passage, meaning that as you write this information down, you're actually creating a gateway for the mind to enter into a deeper understanding of self, not only personally, mentally, emotionally, but also spiritually. You're activating the laws of attraction to open up a new gateway of understanding. So go ahead and pause this video and write down those questions, and we'll wait a few moments and then we'll come back to it. All right, so we're back, and I hope that you were able to really go deep on those questions, to start to look at your financial psychology and how you really feel about prosperity. Now what we want to do in this last phase of mind is we want to identify what is the superconscious. It's also known as God consciousness, or the unified field, or the quantum field. And it's this infinite science of what is happening right now. It's the connection with Source. It's the connection with Spirit, and it is infinite. And what we're going to be doing today is we're actually going to be tapping into that limitless Source by going into the sacred strategy technology to be able to visualize what we will be like in the future and what we want to create with our co-creative capabilities that we have innately within us, but it's just waiting to be activated.
Yeah, and one of the powers of that super conscious mind is actually realizing that future self, that future vision we have is actually real right now. Yeah. It's one with us right now, and it's here in the present and in the future, because there's no real separation between the two. And this might sound kind of a little bit metaphysical, but there's a lot of power in thinking and thought and visualizing in that kind of way. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, what we're going to do now is we're going to move into this next phase of our journey. So now that we've gone through the journey of the conscious entrepreneur, and we started to become more aware about our financial psychology and our prosperity mindset, what we want to do now is we want to start activating those superpowers that we have within ourselves by creating our own sacred strategy.
So the first part of this sacred strategy process is really getting clear on our intentions, getting clear on the context of which we're operating in, and also aligning ourselves with the season. And so this is the season of the summer solstice, June 21st, 2015. This is the longest day of the year. It's the shortest night of the year, at least for the northern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere is actually opposite. So if you're in the southern hemisphere, it's going to be opposite of us. But we're going to be focusing on the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere.
Right. Yeah. And this, on an energetic level, is the enlightenment of the planet. This is where light conquers the darkness, and it really brings us into this deeper understanding, this reflection of the light in us.
Yeah, and it's also this the symbolization of ascension, which might be in a lot of cultures when a being goes from a physical form into a light form, right? So that's a lot of the stories that are around this type of day. There's also that triumphant of light over dark, when light actually is longer than the darkness, right? So there's not only that metaphor, but there's actually the physical expression of that metaphor in it being the longest day of the year. And the meaning of the solstice is really interesting. It means sun stopping. And the reason why is because what it looked like in the past, when we didn't have the type of technology we have today to study the movement of the planets and the stars, is it looked like the sun actually went to a point and then reversed and stopped and then went in the opposite direction at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Powerful. So over centuries, the summer has been a time of celebration and joy where people are hosting festivals and concerts and big events. It's also a great time for business to be able to increase your business and increase your market share. It's a time of expansion.
Yeah, it's, for example, in businesses in general, you have to think about what's going on in the season. We have long days, so we have a lot more heat from the sun. We also have a lot of celebrations. Students are out of school. People are looking to have fun and celebrate. So you want to tap into that energy. So for instance, if you're in the energy field, this is a great time for working on energy conservation projects. If you are in events or festivals, great time to be doing those. It's also a great time if you're a business to be partnering with events and festivals and also providing services and products that help people have more fun outside, you know?
Nice.
Yeah.
So getting clear on aligning ourselves with the season is important, and it's just as important as getting clear with our own vision and our own intention for the coming season.
Yeah, and so tonight we really want to go through this sacred rites of passage. We kind of want to turn ourselves from just entrepreneurs and regular people into miracle workers.
Right, yeah. Absolutely. So this is like miracle worker training. And what we want to do tonight is expose ourselves to this next level of prosperity consciousness. And if you turn to the next page in your workbook, you'll see that we have this page for your vision statement. And what we want to do is just set the intention for what it is that you want to create in this season.
Yes, you can see how this phase one is create your personal vision statement. You want to write it down. You're going to want to visualize it, print it out, put it up somewhere where you can see it every day, right? And keep reminding yourself of this vision that you're creating right now that you want to make real.
Yeah, because every day when you wake up, when you see this thing hanging on your wall, it's a reminder of what you are intending to unfold every day of the next 3 months.
Yeah, and hopefully we've given you some ideas on what types of things that you want to start to envision, whether it be developing a more prosperous mindset and how you might actually do that, or actually making your vision real. Maybe you're at the stage where you want to step through and go from the threshold of having a career into becoming that entrepreneur. So what phase of your life you're in, and what do you want to visualize in the next 3 months?
Right, so be sure to, what we want you to do is we actually want you to pause this video and write this down right now. And as you write it, I would encourage you to just be bold and go big, but make it something that feels good.
Yeah, because remember that your vision is not real because you're not at the point in your life where you can make that real. So you don't know exactly how to make that vision real yet, but you're envisioning yourself becoming that person that makes it real.
So go ahead and pause the video and spend some time on writing this vision statement down. And if you don't have the workbook printed, just put it on a blank sheet of paper and write it big so it's easy to see. So go ahead and pause the video and we'll see you in the next section.
Okay, so now if you turn to your workbook and you go to the evolution of a plan page, we're just going to talk briefly about the importance of this concept. You can see on the left-hand side there's the level of consciousness, and on the bottom side there is actually the time from the now to the future. And one of the first things we want you to do is to write on the top right corner, near the top right corner of your page, write down part of your vision that you're actually, the vision statement you actually just created. Write a little bit of that down right now.
Right, because what we're doing is we're actually visualizing what happens when we put that vision statement into action. When we have a plan, when we have a vision of what we want to create, we are actually setting ourselves on a new trajectory. So from this moment forward, you are going to be a completely changed person, not only mentally, but emotionally, spiritually, and physically. When we feel those feelings of that vision and we align ourselves to that vision, we are setting ourselves on a new trajectory to that new destiny.
Yeah, and you can see in our chart we have option A and option B. And if you think about option B, what that's showing us is if you don't make any changes, if you don't actually hold true to that vision that you create, if you don't become a new person, take new actions, and embody those new feelings, you're going to go on this trajectory of option B. Nothing really changes. But we have this opportunity to go on the trajectory of option A, which is actually making that vision real.
Right. So be strong, be bold, write down that vision in this option A. Stay away from the old self. We don't want to fall into the old self. We want to stay alert, stay awake, and stay on track to that new reality. So now in phase 2, what we want to do is we want to create what we like to call the Mind Lab. And the Mind Lab is a place where we go to just really release all of the ideas, all of the intentions, all of your goals for this summer. We really want to make it goal-oriented. So go ahead and turn to the next page in your workbook. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this page and start to release all of the ideas and goals that you have in your mind, because what this is going to do is it's creating what we call a quantum vacuum. And a quantum vacuum is a way to just release the ideas that we have in mind to make room for new ideas.
Yeah, so no matter how silly you think that idea is, put it down on the paper. No matter how small it is, put it on the paper. No matter how big it is, put it on the paper, because the idea is you want to create room for new ideas. The ideas you have right now might not be the ones you really want to make happen in the next 3 months, and this new idea might come to you. And so this process of mind labbing and creating that quantum vacuum is really powerful and very important.
Great.
Yeah.
So go ahead and take a few minutes to just jot down those ideas, those goals, those visions, whatever it is that you want to accomplish this summer. This is a rough draft. This is where you're just brainstorming, you're getting it out and put it down onto paper, and go ahead and pause the video and spend some time writing those ideas down.
So now we want to prioritize these ideas that we've mind labbed. So on the bottom of the page, you'll notice there's a spot for your 3 top ideas or goals. And the idea is that the 80-20 rule, and that 80% of what we are actually doing or thinking about really doesn't serve us that well. And it's really that 20% that where all the meat is, where all the activity and all the action and all the power is at. So we want to identify that 20% of all those ideas. What are your top 3? What do you really want to accomplish in the next 3 months?
Right, so whatever it is that you have to do to be able to get clear on those priorities, take some time, pause the video, and just look at these different things that you just wrote down and find out at the core what is that 20% of the most effective and efficient things that you can be doing this summer, and write those down at the bottom of the sheet. And if you have 4, if you have 5, that's totally okay, but get as clear as possible.
Okay, so now after you've gotten clear on your top 3 priorities, this is where you want to start to mind map, connect the dots between those goals and the kind of things that need to be done, the actions that need to be taken, the resources you need, maybe the time, the types of people you want to meet in that process. Okay, so Jonathan's going to take a few little graphical notes for us.
Right, and this is what you want to do on the next sheet of paper. So go ahead and flip to that blank sheet, and you'll see in the middle of the sheet where it says summer strategy, this is the type of stuff that you're going to want to be doing.
Yeah, so one of the summer strategies for a sacred strategy, because Jonathan and I use this process all the time to help us create our future as well. And so 2 of the things that we're really interested in doing over the summer is 1, doing a tour down the west coast of the United States. So he's going to actually put the word tour up there and then circle it and then connect it to this summer strategy. And the second thing is we really want to spend time developing our coaching and consulting practices, and also making sure that we're giving our current clients the time and energy that they need. Right? And then so maybe around these concepts now, we might want to start drawing some other bubbles. We want to start mind mapping some more things. So what kind of things do we need for our tour? Well, we want to create connections with people, right, in the cities that we're visiting. So that's one of the goals that we have. Another thing that we want to do for that tour is we want to also interview people. So we want to actually reach out to people and interview them and find out, what does conscious business mean to them, right? What are some other things we're going to be?
Well, I think the big thing on this is just to really remember that what we're doing is, these are the priorities that we put at the bottom of the last sheet.
Yes.
And so really focusing on that 20% and focusing on that and then working out from there. Because a lot of times, just to be able to visualize all of those lists, because I know if you're like me, you have lists all over the place.
So many ideas.
All the different lists and ideas. And what we need to do is we need to be able to visualize them in different ways so that we can really wrap our mind around what it is that we want to manifest.
Yeah, so again, we're just basically on that blank page there for the mind mapping. You're just going to be putting your top priorities down, put a bubble around those, and then start to put the resources or ideas or concepts that are really focused on those core things that you want to create.
And because we are setting the intention to really make the most of this time right now, go ahead and pause this video and spend some time really designing this out. And remember, be bold. Don't be afraid to mess it up. You're going to scratch this thing out and start all over, because trust me, you're going to make mind map after mind map after mind map. So make this your rough draft, or make this the official draft, whatever you want. Just put all of your ideas on there. Don't be afraid to mess up, because you can always start from scratch. Once you get really clear on it, you can take it to a brand new sheet of paper and make it nice and pretty. But either way, spend some time right now on making that mind a map.
So one of the last things we're going to do now is we're going to take this mind map and we're going to put it into a timeline. This is where it becomes really powerful, because you're actually be putting the time frames at which you want these things to actually become real. Right. Now, it's very interesting because most people, 90% of the population, does not actually go this deep in the process. They don't actually make their dreams and goals real. One of the interesting things is 80% of the people that actually take the time to go through processes like this, stuff happens. They reach their goals.
Right.
So this is a very powerful process. At the same time, if the goals don't become real, it's okay.
Right. And that's the funny thing, is that Tyler and I, we're constantly doing these timelines, and it's so powerful because it actually allows you to see what it would look like when we achieve our goals.
Right.
What a great concept. Why don't we do that? Well, a lot of times a lot of people get scared because they say, well, what if I fail? What if it doesn't come true? Then I might feel bad.
Or this doesn't work. It doesn't work. I tried it. It doesn't work. I did it, and I'm not going to do it again.
Well, here's something to tell you. Half of the stuff that we write down on here doesn't actually happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like you put something on there and then something totally shifts and it happens in a totally different way. But that is okay. The bottom line is that we want to put it out there. We want to put it into the universe that, hey, universe, this is what we want to happen.
And this is how we want it to happen. Really fascinating is that me and John actually went through and did our own timelining. We had a meeting scheduled on our timeline. It was for a certain day with this organization, and a few days before the meeting, they canceled the meeting and they said they wanted to reschedule. We were like, no problems. We kept it on our timeline. That date came around that we were supposed to meet with them. We looked at our timeline. We're like, what are we supposed to do today? Oh, well, we're supposed to have a meeting, but they canceled.
Right.
We go to this coffee shop to hang out where we usually do some work. Ends up there at the coffee shop. We end up having the meeting at the exact time that we were supposed to have it.
Right.
And from that, we're moving on and working with them.
Right.
So stuff happens when you do this, when you take the time to make your intentions and goals real.
Right, and that's why we have two parts to this timeline. The top section is where you're going to be writing your anticipated goals, and those are the things that you have in your mind map. You want to write down where those things are going to take place. You can write them at an angle, or you can write them like this and do it like a list, or you can do it however you want. Either way, put them on there. Sometimes you might have some different areas. You might have it blocked off, like from this time until this time, we're going to be doing this campaign, whatever it may be, but you're going to be really clear with what you currently have in your mind map on the top, and then in the bottom half, we want to be really creative with that, because what we're putting down there is the breakthrough goals and the unexpected miracles.
Yeah, take a moment, check in with yourself, do a little bit of visualization or just calming and presencing, and see what comes. And you might see a vision of yourself in the future that seems impossible. Write that down. You might have a vision of something that you've always wanted that you haven't thought about in a while, and it starts to come into your field. Write it down in that spot.
Or think about, like, what is the ideal amount of money you would like to create and manifest in month 1 and month 2 and month 3. Write it down. A lot of times people are like, I don't know if I should write this down because I'm scared because it might not happen or something. I don't even know. But it's like, hey, write down $10,000, write down $20,000, whatever you want to write down. Write it down in the unexpected miracles section that we're utilizing our co-creative manifestation capabilities for, because that is what that section is for. And make sure you fill the timeline all the way up to the next TransforMe, which is going to be the fall equinox. That's going to be on September 23rd. And write down all of those visions, and write down all of those times and put them in there. We want to use this time right now to be able to start envisioning this coming season. So go ahead and pause the video and use this last and final phase of this program to really map out this vision.
Okay, now that we've gone through the timelining phase, we're going to go into the final phase. This is the visualization and activation of the work we've done today. And take a moment real quick and thank yourself for taking that time to really set the intentions and make those goals real. And thank you for being with us today. And John's going to lead us all through a quick visualization and activation of the timeline.
So what we want to do right now is we put the intention into this timeline, into this mind map, into all this work. We want to take all that expectation, and we just want to put it on the ground. Just put it right on the ground, and I want you to put your feet on top of that whole packet that you just did, all that work. We're just going to put our feet onto it, because what we're doing is we're planting that seed into the earth and we're standing on top of that vision. And what we're going to do right now is we're actually going to enter into a simple meditation to be able to kind of just release all expectation and just know that that seed has been planted. And so what we're going to do right now is just put that on the ground and sit up straight and take a deep breath. And what we're going to do is enter into this time of meditation. Right now, we call forth our prosperous mind, a feeling of prosperity within every single cell in our body. Feel it within your heart like a light shining. With a deep breath, I want you to visualize this light and hold that breath at the top of your head. And as you exhale, relax. What we want to do is feel what it would feel like to be at the end of this 3 months and all of these visions had unfolded effortlessly. See that seed that you had planted. Imagine the people who you will be working with. Feel the joy of working with those people. Imagine giving a high five to your friend. Imagine giving a hug to a new person that you just met. Imagine the joy of accomplishing one of your biggest breakthrough goals. Feel prosperity right now in your heart. Feel the money coming into your bank account. Visualize the money entering into your bank account, into your pockets, into your wallet. Visualize your wallet filling up with money from all of the good work that you are bringing to society. Feel that joy of the summer going perfectly. Now imagine those unexpected miracles, things that you didn't even intend on. Visualize those experiences coming to you. Just watch them come freely and feel it in your body right now. Feel that energy raise in your body. Feel that prosperity. And as you tune into that, say in your own voice the words, I am prosperous. Say it again, I am prosperous. Feel it in your body, I am prosperous. One more time, I am prosperous. With a deep breath and a grateful heart, when you're ready, come back to this space right now. Friends, we want you to know that this universe, that this life, that this co-creation that you are here creating right now wants to see your vision unfold effortlessly. And by intending this prayer, by intending this meditation, by writing down these affirmations, these goals, and putting it into time, you are activating those forces that you have within you. All right, so as we wrap up this program, I'd invite you to pick up your workbook off the ground, bring it back up to the desk, and what we want to share with you now is an opportunity to continue working with us as we move forward into this summer.
Yeah, so thank you for being with us today. There's a few things that are coming up. First, we have the next TransforMe. You want to mark your calendars. That's going to be on September 23rd. It's for the fall equinox. Again, we're going to be bringing some new ideas and new concepts around conscious entrepreneurship and conscious leadership for you. We'll also be doing this 3-month timelining again, which we think is a powerful tool. We know it's powerful. We see it work all the time. On top of that, we have a TransforMe Challenge private group on Facebook. We want you to join that. We have the link below here on this page. You can just click on that and go and join that. There's a lot of stuff happening there.
Yeah, that's where all the action's happening.
Yeah.
And there's people who are just really sharing, very deep stuff, a lot of transformational information and things that will really help you along your path. And so we're excited to see you there. And lastly, we want to share with you a little bit about a program that we're really excited about. It's called Launch Me.
Okay.
Yeah, and then for those of you that want to continue working with us over the next 3 months leading up to the fall, we'd like to extend to you an opportunity to work with us in our private mastermind group called Launch Me.
Yeah, so this is a mastermind group. We have a limited number available. It's only 10 spots that we have for this event. It's really powerful. The idea of the mastermind is it's taking groups of people together and elevating their minds as a group so they can come up with more powerful ideas, more visions, and making things real and taking actions. In this Launch Me program, you're going to leverage our knowledge and experience. We're going to help you to really take your business or your idea or your vision to the next level.
Yeah, and we've seen this program have so much impact in so many people's lives, and we'll definitely share some testimonials at the end of this video. But I can tell you this, every time that we launch this program, I mean, we just see people completely transform their path and their strategy, and we see it work over and over and over again. If you want to launch your book, if you're creating an organization, or if you already have an organization up and running, we've even worked with CEOs of organizations who are having huge impacts in themselves and their personal lives to have huge transformations for their companies.
Yeah, so in this program, some of the things we're going to offer is we're going to offer tools and resources that help you to launch your idea. We're going to provide you with some more information about the entrepreneur's journey, not only the external journey that we talked about today, but also the internal journey of transformation that happens within the entrepreneur themselves, and how you can successfully go through those processes. We're also going to be sharing techniques for building community, some information about online marketing strategies and what you need to know, just the basics. So not to confuse you at all, but just to give you the best stuff that we've learned about over the past years.
Right, and that's one thing that we really want to do with Sacred Strategy is be the content curators who bring the best of the best knowledge to our conscious community so that we can really advance you as a conscious leader and a conscious entrepreneur to be able to do the biggest and best work that you possibly can. And not only for marketing, but also for the stuff like neuroscience and reprogramming the mind. We're going to be offering you free resources that you can use, like audiobooks and programs that will help you start to cultivate a new level of prosperity consciousness.
Yeah, so this Launch Me program, if it feels like it's for you, then please click the button below. Like we said, we have limited spots. It's not for everybody, but check with yourself, check with your vision, and see if there's alignment between what you have and what you want to accomplish and Sacred Strategy.
Yeah, and we're just going to hold that vision in such a high place to see you creating that vision, that 3-month plan, that ultimate vision of your life. And we just hold that vision true in our hearts, and just want to thank you so much for being with us here today.
Yeah, and last thing is, if you feel in your hearts right now to give us a donation for this program, if you found it useful or valuable, we're a 501c3. We take donations to actually help us continue these programs, to help educate conscious entrepreneurs and build community. We really appreciate your support.
Yes, thank you so much for your support, and thank you for being here. So from the island of Oahu, here in Hawaii, aloha.
Aloha. Felt pretty good.
Yeah. La ba la ba la. Ribs. We had ribs for lunch.
Is that the